Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Monday, November 10, 2025. And in the news this evening, forklift operator fatally stabbed during alleged dispute with a stepfather. A 30-year-old St. Catherine man has died from injuries reportedly received during a dispute with his stepfather in Portmore, St. Catherine on Sunday. The deceased has been identified as Trevor Irving, a forklift operator of a Waterford address. Reports are that about 11:40 a.m., Irving and his stepfather had an argument at home which became physical. Irving was reportedly stabbed several times during the incident. He was taken to the Spanish Town Hospital where he died while undergoing treatment. The Waterford Criminal Investigation Branch is probing the matter. Police investigating suspected drowning of farmer in the Rio Cobre. The Central Village Police in St. Catherine have launched an investigation into a suspected case of drowning in the Rio Cobre. The probe started after the body of a 25-year-old St. Catherine farmer was retrieved from the river on Sunday. He has been identified as Curtis Mohan of Coe Park, St. Catherine. Reports are that about 5 p.m., passers-by observed the body in a section of the river and summoned the police. On their arrival, the body was retrieved for a post-mortem examination to be conducted. Portmore Mayor wants a toll exemption for vehicles transporting hurricane relief supplies. Mayor of Portmore Leon Thomas is calling for the government to temporarily exempt vehicles transporting relief supplies to Western Jamaica from paying toll fees. His call comes after a convoy of 11 vehicles from the Portmore Municipal Corporation, laden with relief supplies for residents affected by Hurricane Melissa in Hanover, was delayed at the Miami Bay Toll Plaza in St. Anne earlier today. According to Mayor Thomas, the convoy was held up for some time as toll operators sought to determine the vehicle status before allowing them to pass. He said the delay was eventually resolved only after the municipality paid the toll fees amounting to $52,000. I believe that vehicles belonging to reputable organizations transporting relief supplies to Western Jamaica should be exempted from toll charges until some level of normalcy returns to the affected areas in Western Jamaica, Thomas said. The mayor added that the government should act swiftly to prevent similar situations from occurring as the national relief effort continues. Thomas, who led the convoy himself, described the incident as an unnecessary obstacle at a time when every hour counts in delivering critical aid to affected communities. Relief operations are ongoing across western parishes, including Hanover, St. James, and Westmoreland, which were among the hardest hit by Hurricane Melissa. Police worried spoiled meat could be sold to unsuspecting consumers. Concern is being raised that spoiled meat could be sold to unsuspecting customers in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. It follows the seizure of the carcasses of 4 cows in a Toyota Hiace van on the Porous Main Road in Manchester on Sunday. The police say between 5:30 a.m. and 6 a.m., lawmen assigned to the Manchester Police Division and the members of the Area 2 Agricultural Protection Branch intercepted the van on the Porous Main Road in the vicinity of Coffee Grove Street. The police say the vehicle was carrying the carcasses of 4 larger brown cows with heads still attached. The driver fled the scene, raising immediate concerns about the origin, handling, and the safety of the meat. The police say the incident underscores the potential for uninspected and improperly handled meat products being distributed, especially in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, which can disrupt the supply chains and compromise food safety standards. Senior Superintendent Oral Pasco, head of the Agricultural Protection Branch, said the police will be deployed strategically to pursue these perpetrators. Small plane headed to Jamaica with relief supplies crashes in Florida. A small aircraft headed to Montego Bay, St. James to support Hurricane Melissa relief efforts crashed into a pond in the Coral Springs neighborhood in Florida on Monday morning. Authorities say the Beechcraft King Air went down shortly after takeoff from Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport about 10:15 a.m., landing in a pond between homes. Fire officials said they responded and the dive team performed a preliminary operation but did not find any victims. They said the search had become a recovery effort. It is unclear how many persons were aboard the aircraft. First, the set of sea cargo arrived with relief supplies. The first set of ships with containers filled with relief supplies have arrived in Jamaica. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz said that the vessels, which arrived at the country's ports on Sunday, will bolster relief supplies and enable the government and the responders to be able to be more consistent and distribute the aid to affected areas. Mr. Vaz said clearance of the containers will be expedited.
As we enter into another phase of relief supplies, first the air side, which was the quickest, and now that the hurricane has passed, we now move on to the shipping side, the sea side. This is a vessel coming into Kingston Harbor this morning. The majority of the containers are consigned to ODPEM or individual charities. So this will mean that we will have both air cargo relief coming in and sea cargo coming in, which means we will get much more into the warehouses to get into the fields and the districts and the valleys. So again, for those who feel left out, those who haven't seen anything or anybody as yet, as I said before, the Andrew Holness administration will not leave you.
Circuit Court sittings resume in some parishes, more to come on stream. Circuit Court sittings resumed on Monday in 3 parishes after a break caused by the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Among the 3 parishes are St. James and Trelawney, 2 of the areas devastated by the Category 5 hurricane. St. Catherine is the 3rd parish. Court Administration Division, which made the announcement on Monday, said the Circuit Court sittings for Westmoreland will resume next Monday. Court, Circuit and the Parish Court sittings for St. Elizabeth will resume on November 24. The St. Elizabeth Parish Court was completely destroyed by the hurricane. Melissa made landfall in New Hope, Westmoreland on October 28, causing wide-scale destruction across the western end of Jamaica, including St. Elizabeth, St. James, Hanover, and Trelawney. CAD said due to the extensive damage in Westmoreland, the Circuit Court for the parish will be held in neighboring Hanover. The St. James Circuit Court will only sit on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. The Trelawney Circuit Court will be held in Duncans, while the St. Catherine Circuit Court will be held at the Supreme Court in Kingston. The Court Administration Division continues to assess infrastructural damage across all courts and will be engaging the Ministry of Justice to have issues addressed in the shortest possible time, CAD said in a statement. Unapproved taxi fare increases run rampant in St. James after Hurricane Melissa. Commuters in sections of St. James are raising concerns about sudden increases in taxi fares in the days following Hurricane Melissa, alleging that some operators have been charging well above the normal approved rates. According to passengers who spoke with the news, fares on several routes reportedly jumped without warning, with some operators charging as much as 2 times the usual cost. One commuter said a trip that normally cost $200 was quoted as $300 by one driver, while another route that typically carries a $250 fare escalated to as high as $1,000 on the day after the storm. Right after the storm, the fare was $1,000 for Falmouth, and the normal fare is $250. Then the Thursday, it was $500, explained one passenger. The commuter described multiple encounters with different drivers, many of whom gave inconsistent reasons for the price increases. One driver reportedly claimed the higher fares were due to long fuel lines at gas stations in St. James, explaining that taxis had to wait for a long time to purchase gas as shortages and high demand intensified after the hurricane. However, passengers questioned the justification, noting that fuel-related challenges do not give operators the authority to change fares. What I said to the driver is that, I get what you say, but that's not reason for you to raise the fare. You can go earlier, you can go later, or even use a different station. I well know that the Taxi Association never announced any fare increase, one commenter said. Commuters also claim that the fare hikes were widespread, not isolated. Some say drivers became dismissive or confrontational when questioned, with one operator reportedly telling a pregnant passenger that if she could not pay the inflated charge, she would have to stand and wait until night. When asked if they've made any reports, the commuters said no, expressing hopes that it will return to normalcy soon. It's literally just like cat and mouse. So you will say, okay, me don't have any other choice. Remember say right after the storm, people did go look for people where them not hear from. So you really not made say, yeah, spend a bag of money. You just want to know say the person okay. And them know that, so them take advantage of that, the commuter explained. In a recent media briefing, Transport Minister Darrell Vaz gave directives that any public passenger operators caught overcharging passengers will face the full force of the law. Zero tolerance between the police and the transport authority. Carry out as many sting operations and seize as many. The more the merrier, because one thing we're not going to accept in this disaster is unconscionable behavior, said Vaz. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.